Hi everyone, John from Jones, and we're going to be talking about the dry white flight. So thank you for joining us. We're going to talk about each wine one at a time, and we're going to do a pause so that you don't have to rush through your tasting. We want you to take as much time as you want with each wine, and then unpause it, go back to action, and join us again. So let's start with the very first wine, and that's our Muscat Ottonel. And the Muscat family has many different members. There's many different Muscat grapes. Most of them are made in a sweet style that people are familiar with, like Asti Spumante and Moscato d'Asti, and those are quite sweet. But we're doing the Alsatian version, and that's a dry style. So you're going to get some of those familiar, almost exotic aromas and tastes, but you will get completely dry. So, as usual, always, when you take your first sip of the day, or if you had something before, you want to clean your mouth out by... I'm not judging the wine, I'm just getting my mouth primed. Now I'm going to take a real snip after I give it a good swirl. Get some... and again, you get those exotic aromas. You're going to get tangerine almost, and some honeysuckle or jasmine. And then give it a taste. Try to get the wine all over your mouth so you can taste every little bit of it. Take a moment to pause, see how long it lasts. This one also has a very long finish. It stays with you for a very long time. But you notice that some of the same flavors echo the aromas that you got when you were first sniffing. And that is the beauty of Muscat. It's also one of the only grapes that tastes like the wine is going to be. Most grapes don't taste like the wine that it turns out to be. But great wine for pairing with many different things, but if I had my one choice, it would be with a curry dish, sweet curry. That's not super hot at all, but those two would make a great pairing. So enjoy the wine and enjoy the rest of the day. We'll be pausing right now then move on to the Pinot Gris. Okay, we're going to move on to wine number 2. That's the Jones Pinot Gris. And you might notice the spelling is G-R-I-S. The wine originated in France, the grape originated in France, and they don't pronounce the S, so it's Gris. And Gris means gray. If you were to see a Pinot Gris grape on the vine, it's going to be bluish, pinkish, grayish, and that's where it got the name Pinot Gris. In Italy, the word for gray is Grigio. So if you've had Pinot Grigio, you've had the same grape. However, our style is different. Again, we're going for the Alsace style, which is a little bit richer than some of the Italians, and maybe not as citrusy. This gets into more like melons and honeydew and apple and pear. So again, give it a sniff. Give it a couple good sniffs. Take your taste. I want you to notice the viscosity. You see what I'm saying? But it's a little bit, the mouthfeel is a little thicker than some of the Italian versions. And because it has some richness to it, I think of foods like scallops, lobster, chicken with a cream sauce, something like that. And so I try to match the wines, the flavors with the type of foods. And those foods come to my mind right off the bat. So what you're tasting is Jones Pinot Gris. And again, all from the Jones vineyard. So we're going to pause once more time for you, and then we'll get to the last wine. All right, moving on to our final wine, we have the Riesling. And for many years, most people thought that Rieslings all had to be sweet. And if you look back in time, many of the wines that were exported to America that were in the Riesling grape, they were sweet. And people got in their minds that Rieslings can only be sweet, but that's really a winemaking decision. If you remember, we're doing the Alsatian style for this group here, and that style is dry. And Riesling can be made from sweet dessert wines all the way to a dry wine, and we're doing ours in the dry style. So as you're sniffing, you're going to get some of those familiar Riesling aromas. You're going to get some citrus sometimes. You're going to get some peach. There's many different flavors you're going to get. And it's a great wine with Asian foods. All three of these are, but if you have something from Chinese to Thai, Riesling does really, really well with that. Another thing that's great with it, and one of my favorites, raw oysters. oysters on a half shell and a nice glass of dry Riesling is a really nice pairing. But I hope you've taken your time to enjoy the wines. We're going to let you finish that one. And don't forget to take home your Dragonfly glass when you're all set there. And so thank you for supporting your local farmers, and hope to see you again.